The bloom chosen. The most profound mysteries in life are not the stars in the sky. They're the ones who appear to know something the rest of us don't. The chosen ones. You are a living enigma. People aren't sure whether to adore you, fear you, or just gaze in confusion. You're like that one episode of a TV show that everyone can't stop talking about, but no one completely understands. This is a fact. According to studies, humans have a tendency to classify people within 7 seconds of meeting them. But for you, 7 seconds can develop into 7 hours of overthinking. Why? Because you do not fit the mold. You aren't just thinking beyond the box. You threw away the box and created something altogether new. They're curious why your presence feels different. Is it confidence, mystique, or extraterrestrial technology? Who knows? The only certainty is that you will contradict their expectations, which will drive them crazy. In this age of regular habits and overshared photos, being mysterious is your superpower. But let's go deeper. What makes you so compelling? How come they can't figure you out? Continue reading, because the solutions are as interesting as you. Number 1, your intensity is both captivating and terrifying. People are drawn to you, but don't understand why. It is not simply about appearance, charm, or talent. Your energy has an unsaid quality that captivates and perplexes others. You possess an intangible force, a subtle strength that makes people unsure how to approach you. It's not that you strive to frighten them. It's just who you are. You enter into a room, and the air feels different. It's a shift that people can't articulate, but they feel it in their core. This vibe of yours is contradictory. It piques people's interest while maintaining a safe distance. They want to understand you, but they're unsure if they're ready for what they could learn. It's as if they see that there's more to you than meets the eye. They'd have to peel back layers to genuinely get to know you. Most individuals are used to figuring out others fast, but not you. It upsets people, but it also renders you irresistible. Some will see your presence as arrogance. It's simpler for them to assume you're arrogant than to admit that your confidence exposes their lack of it. Others will tiptoe around you, not out of fear, but out of respect. It isn't every day that they come across someone whose confidence whispers rather than shouts. Despite this, it continues to demand attention. What makes it even more intriguing is that you are frequently oblivious of the impact you have. You simply exist as you are, and that is what confuses them the most. People expect energy to be loud and obvious, but yours is seductive in its subtlety. This is why you are a walking mystery. People can't figure you out, and they don't really want to. Number 2, you reflect their secret anxieties. Being near you feels like holding up a mirror, and not everyone is prepared for what they witness. You don't need to speak or do much. People are moved deeply by your mere presence. It is not deliberate. You don't go about exposing people's shortcomings, but you do uncover things they've been trying to hide from the public, and maybe even themselves. That explains why people's reactions to you are so varied. They aren't reacting to you. They are responding to what you bring out in them. You mirror their vulnerabilities, unfulfilled goals, and unsaid worries. Someone who has always claimed to be confident may feel small next to you. Not because you have done anything to diminish them, but because you exude a calm, genuine confidence that exposes the flaws in their veneer. Someone who has been suppressing their own potential may feel uneasy because your energy quietly says, "Why aren't you doing more?" This is why some people adore you while keeping their distance. Others may aggressively criticize you in order to avoid dealing with their own anguish. Then there are others who cling to you, believing that being near you can somehow heal what's broken inside them. All of this happens without your really trying, and it may be as tiresome for you as it is perplexing for others. The fact is that most people are not prepared to face the stark honesty you represent. You show them their own mirror, including flaws and concerns. And not everyone wants to recognize that it is not your fault and cannot be changed. It's just the nature of someone who lives life really. You make them see themselves, and for many, that is the scariest part. Number 3, your achievement defies unwritten norms. You do not achieve in the ways that people anticipate, whereas others slog through predictable roads or follow step-by-step methods. You appear to disregard the guidelines entirely. It's not that you don't try hard. You just have a way of doing things that seems effortless, even if it's not. People don't comprehend how you may keep going forward without adhering to the plan that society has given them. It's as if you're playing by your own rules, which annoys them more than they'd acknowledge. What puzzles them the most is how you make progress in ways they never imagined possible when caught in restrictive systems. You're over here breaking those systems or demonstrating why you don't need them in the first place. You may take uncommon chances, trust your instincts, or just approach life with a level of originality that they cannot match. They see it as fortunate, but you know better. It's not luck, it's an alignment. You're connected to something deeper that drives your decisions and continuously directs you to the proper doors. They had no idea these existed. This is not the way people are trained. Success works. They want clear rationale, sequential processes, and evident effort. When they don't perceive such qualities in you, it makes them uncomfortable. Some may admire your efforts to discover out how you do it. Others will believe you have an unfair edge since it is simpler than acknowledging that their strategy may be wrong. However, your approach to success calls into question everything they believe about work, justice, and control. You are proof that life does not always follow the rules that people adhere to. And although this may confound them, it also encourages them, even if they won't acknowledge it. Number 4, you do not comply, and this jeopardizes stability. You live on your own terms, which upsets others more than you think. Society is constructed on unwritten norms, regular patterns of conduct that make everyone feel as if the world makes sense. Most individuals abide by those norms without inquiry, finding comfort in conforming to expectations. But you have never been one to comply, and this disrupts their sense of order. Your cognitive processes do not conform to the script. You see potential. Others fail to evaluate what they take for granted and dismiss ideas that do not resonate with them. It's not that you deliberately set out to be disobedient. Simply said, you've never understood the concept of mindless obedience. When you hear that this is the way things are done, your first thought is to question why. Your life choices demonstrate the same reluctance to join the herd, whilst others strive for conventional achievement. Climbing the career ladder, checking off social accomplishments. You carve your own path. Perhaps it's the career everyone claimed was impractical, the unconventional connection, or the choice to value pleasure above looks. Whatever it is, it does not fit into the neat categories that people are accustomed to, which makes them uneasy. It is not just that you refuse to conform. Stepping outside the lines indicates your nonconformity. You make people question if such lines are really required in the first place. You dispute the notion that there is just one proper way to live. For many, this is very disconcerting. Stability depends on everyone doing their share. And when you step out of formation, others question whether the rules they've been following are really true. Your decision to live genuinely is not just freeing for you. It's a gentle revolution that upends the world around you. Number 5, you say facts people are not prepared to hear. You don't talk merely to talk. When you talk, it's like a laser piercing through the murk. Your remarks hold weight because they include truth, not the sort that has been polished to make people feel good, but the kind that is raw, unfiltered, and unmistakable. You speak things that most people are hesitant to confess, even to themselves. It isn't because you prefer conflict. It's simply because you can't tolerate pretense or denial. The odd thing is that people frequently ask for honesty when what they truly want is confidence. They want realities that fit neatly into their paradigm, not the harsh reality you present. So when you talk, it may feel as if you've thrown a bomb in the middle of their meticulously ordered life. It compels people to address issues they've been avoiding, such as a bad relationship, a misguided belief system, or their own untapped potential. Your honesty is a two-edged sword. Some folks are really thankful, knowing that your comments, however difficult, are exactly what they needed to hear. Others, on the other hand, feel vulnerable, if not assaulted, because your truths shatter the illusions on which they have constructed their lives. It's simpler for them to characterize you as harsh, insensitive, or excessive than to confront the underlying message you're communicating. However, the burden of your honesty is that you frequently bear the weight of their emotions. You do not want to harm somebody, yet your words can sometimes seem like a smack in the face. Not because they are cruel, but because they are correct. And the truth has a way of making people develop, whether they want it or not. That's the strength of your voice. It shocks the foundations, even when people are unprepared for it. Number 6, you emanate timelessness in a society concerned with trends. In a world where everyone is always looking for the next big thing, you stand apart. Trends come and go. Fashion slang, the newest technology, but none of it defines you, whereas others strive to be relevant. Adapting to each new fad, you stay unshaken, as if you've discovered something deeper than the surface-level noise. It's not that you're unwilling to change. You don't see the value in committing to things that won't matter tomorrow. People can't quite put into words the timeless quality you possess. It is reflected in your demeanor, thought processes, and interactions with others. Your ideals, thoughts, and decisions seem to be founded in something much older and wiser, as if you got information from a source that most people have never examined. This richness makes you both attractive and mysterious because you don't appear to be reading from the same script as everyone else. In a culture concerned with trends, you represent a subtle revolt. Others evaluate accomplishment by likes, shares, and transient acclaim. However, your attention is on substance, things that persist beyond the instant you make connections, aspirations that matter, and honesty above appearances. This may not always turn you into the life of the party, but it does make you forgettable. People don't always understand you, and that's okay. What you represent is not designed to be grasped in an instant. They'll look back years later and understand what they missed. While others chase the fleeting, you are rooted in what is everlasting. This is what makes you timeless. You are proof that, in a society concerned with what comes next, there is unrivaled power in becoming what genuinely endures. Number 7, your emotional depth is unknown land. You don't only feel feelings. You plunge in, unafraid to explore the depths that most people shun, whilst others only skim the surface. You allow yourself to truly experience everything instead of going on autopilot or ignoring their sensations. Joy is more than simply personal satisfaction. It is a deep, almost mystical connection to life. Sadness isn't something to run from. It is a place where you may learn, grow, and gain a deeper understanding of yourself. This intensity distinguishes you, and others frequently struggle to cope with it. Your emotional depth enables you to connect with others in ways they are not accustomed to. Listening involves more than just your ears. It is with your entire being. You catch up on unsaid phrases, subtle tone adjustments, and feelings people aren't even aware they are conveying. It's as if you glimpse their soul before they have a chance to hide it. Some people find this comfortable, even therapeutic. Others, however, find it unsettling. They're not accustomed to being seen so plainly, especially in a society where emotional detachment is sometimes mistaken for strength. But this depth isn't limited to others. It's also about how you manage your own inner world. You're not afraid to confront the harsh facts, to sit in discomfort, or to battle with issues that most people ignore. This gives you wisdom beyond your years, but it can also lead to misinterpretations. People may identify you as too sensitive or emotional, unaware that what they are actually witnessing is courage. The bravery to feel intensely in an environment that promotes numbness. Your emotional depth is unique, and it distinguishes you from those who shun the maelstrom of feelings. You embrace it, finding beauty and purpose in unexpected places. That is why you are an enigma. They just cannot grasp your ability to feel and flourish. Number 8, you defy labels and classifications. People desire labels because they make things simpler to understand. They help people predict behavior, make assumptions, and feel in control of the environment. But you do not fit neatly into any of those boxes. Your personality, choices, and even paradoxes make it tough to pin you down. You're a walking paradox, and for many, that is both interesting and exasperating. You may appear to be fiercely independent one minute and intimately linked to others the next. You're serious when it comes to important things, yet you're also fun in unexpected ways. They attempt to determine if you are this or that, never comprehending that you are both and more. It's not like you're attempting to be surprising. You are absolutely authentic. Authenticity does not have a single definition. Your decisions exacerbate this intricacy. You don't follow trends, but you don't openly oppose them either. You are not attempting to prove a point or make a statement. You just do what seems right to you, even if it conflicts with what others anticipate. This confuses those who rely on patterns and categorization. They try to predict your next move, but you keep them wondering not because you are secretive, but because you refuse to live your life according to anybody else's rules. People are more than simply intrigued by this aversion to classifications. It tests them, it challenges them to rethink their own predisposition to categorize individuals and ask why they require such labels in the first place. Deep down, it bothers them because if you can exist without being defined, perhaps they can as well. And this is scary for individuals who have spent their entire lives striving to fit in. You are living proof that accepting complexity leads to freedom, and this makes you unforgettable. Number 9, you defy the existing quo without trying. To question the current quo, you don't need to raise your voice or cause a commotion. Your sheer presence upends things in ways that most people cannot articulate, while others stick to the tried and true routes of conformity, playing by the rules and doing what is expected. You simply refuse to compromise without even trying. You uncover the flaws in systems that people take for granted. You don't need to protest or deliver spectacular speeches to effect change. Your actions, or lack thereof, are enough to make people question everything they've been taught to believe. You have a knack of shedding light on the inadequacies of established institutions just by being yourself. You live outside the restrictions that others consider necessary. There is a subtle resistance in everything you do, whether it's your approach to work, relationships, or your thinking. You do not need to battle the system. You let your presence be a challenge. This causes a mild uneasiness in those who are still attempting to follow the plan put out for them. They begin to ponder whether their life is as good as they thought it was. Even your stillness might feel revolutionary when others perceive the air as empty noise. You demonstrate the power of restraint, of thought. You don't hurry to respond to queries or engage in the useless banter that surrounds them. That in itself is disruptive. People may not know it, but your calm reluctance to follow the pack sends a wake-up call. You do not have to work hard to make a difference. You already do. Your reluctance to accept mediocrity or settle for what's easy is a subtle revolt, and many around you can sense it, even if they don't entirely understand why. The way you live forces others to reconsider their own decisions, comfort zones, and even the systems they've been mindlessly obeying. You aren't here to fit in. You're here to help them reconsider what fitting in really means. Number 10, you inspire obsession rather than just adoration. Your presence does not merely elicit adoration. It elicits a profound, almost compulsive response. People can't just be indifferent to you. They either admire you with fervor that borders on obsession, or they condemn you with equal zeal. It's as if you've triggered something within them that they can't ignore. Regardless of how hard they try, some of you symbolize everything. They want to be confident, real, and unashamedly themselves. Others see you as a mirror they would rather not look into. As a result, people react negatively in order to defend their own anxieties. This type of magnetism is not without drawbacks. It's tough to negotiate a world where people either admire or criticize you, with little room for compromise. You become the topic of great concentration. And although appreciation is good, its overwhelming nature can seem oppressive. Those that love you do not only want your presence. They want everything of you. Every element, every phrase, every option, including those that despise you. They're obsessed with scrutinizing your every action, figuring out what makes you tick, and finding any cause to pull you down. When you elicit such powerful responses, this contradiction demonstrates your strength. It's evident that you're tapping into something deep within individuals, something they can't quite put their finger on but can't get away from. You become a force that pushes people to experience something, even if it is uncomfortable. Your ability to elicit both love and hatred indicates that you are more than just an existential being. You are making an indelible mark. However, while this power can be exhilarating, it is also depleting. Constantly being the focus of such intense attention, whether good or bad, you may crave for a peaceful moment of tranquility away from the chaos. Nonetheless, it is apparent that your magnetism is not motivated by a desire to please others. It's all about being memorable. And in a world obsessed with attention, that is a rare and powerful gift. Number 11, you are a dichotomy of power and sensitivity. You are the contradiction that keeps people off balance. On the one hand, you exemplify strength, not the sort that seeks attention or attempts to show anything, but a calm, unwavering strength that does not require flair. Your mere appearance exudes strength and resilience. However, it is not the type of strength that keeps others out. In fact, your openness throws people off, whereas some use their strength as a shield, hiding behind skillfully erected walls. You have the bravery to reveal your true self, including your flaws, vulnerabilities, and rawness. This openness is not indicative of weakness. It is the contrary. You demonstrate that power does not come from claiming to be indestructible or always having it together. True strength is in the capacity to confront your own weaknesses, admit your challenges, and still stand strong in your truth. You aren't frightened to be vulnerable, and being vulnerable doesn't make you lesser. It multiplies your strength in ways that others cannot understand. For individuals who are accustomed to perceiving power as something to be guarded, managed, and disguised, your sincerity has caused confusion, with some asking, how can someone be both powerful and open? How can people bear the weight of the world while confessing they feel lost or hurt? You demonstrated that genuine power does not require hiding or pretending. You display your wounds and fragility as badges of glory, redefining what it means to be strong. Your vulnerability does not make you brittle. It makes you more authentic, relatable, and immensely more powerful than someone who wears a mask of perfection. You demonstrate that strength is more than just erecting barriers. It is about having the courage to live freely and truly, imperfections included. Number 12, you exist outside their tails, which is unnerving. Most individuals go through life believing they are the focus of their own tale. They are the protagonist in a universe centered on their desires, aims, and story. But you exist outside of the tale. And this is what makes you so disturbing. You do not follow the script that they have created for themselves or anybody else. Your life does not conform to the standard narrative elements that people are used to. You don't fit cleanly into the roles people expect, which is both exciting and unsettling for them. Your strange nature contradicts their carefully crafted worldview. It compels them to accept that life isn't about their particular drama. Your presence reminds them that there are more layers to the universe than their own tiny narrative. They can't quite fit you into their mental categories, which undermines their feeling of organization. For them, it's an existential crisis, not because of anything you've said or done, but because you exist as a reminder that life isn't as easy as their narrative portrays it. This is why you remain in their minds long after you leave the room. They can't stop thinking about you because, consciously or subconsciously, you compel them to confront the limitations of their own perception. You don't simply exist in the background. You serve as a mirror, reflecting the immensity of the world they have been neglecting. The fact that you exist outside of their narrative makes them question whether they, too, are missing something bigger, something they've been too preoccupied to see. And it is uncomfortable. It's far simpler to concentrate on our own stories than to face the complexities of a reality that doesn't always follow our norms. You are a walking mystery, a force that violates others' comfort zones without even trying. You question the world's narratives with quiet defiance and sincerity, demonstrating what's possible when we stop complying, stop following the crowd, and start living our complete, unabashed truth. Your power lies not in trying to be perfect, but in approaching vulnerability with the same confidence that you approach your goals. You resist classifications, inspire obsession, and cause people to rethink the structures on which they have relied without ever saying a word of protest. Your emotional depth, your capacity to connect with people on levels they cannot comprehend, keeps them enthralled and frequently uneasy. In a world preoccupied with fitting in, you exist to remind us that there is strength in standing separate. You are not here to assimilate into a world that values regularity. You're here to make people reconsider the routes they've been on, to awaken them to the beauty of complexity, and to challenge the current quo without having to explain yourself. People can't figure you out which is precisely the way it should be for you. Life is not about conforming to their narrative. It's about making your own, one that isn't limited by their restrictive assumptions. You are not simply a part of the planet. You redefine it, leaving an indelible impact that lasts long after you've left. That, in its most pure form, is your power. If you were attracted by the complexity, mystery, and raw sincerity of what we talked, believe me, this is only the beginning. There is so much more waiting for you. More insights, truths, and strong thoughts that will make you question everything in the greatest manner imaginable. So, if you're ready to continue challenging the status quo and embrace a unique perspective, click the subscribe button. Join us on this voyage of self-discovery, personal growth, and sheer change. Because, let's be honest, you don't want to miss what happens next. Subscribe today, and let's keep breaking the mold together.